Hey, this is Jeremy Jansen. I'm really pleased today to introduce you to our first rack extension, Bitcrush. Bitcrush is a multi-effects device that has a very special and unique feature at its core, and that is a customizable bit crusher. In addition to that, it has two advanced multi-mode filters that are set up in a semi-modular fashion that can be configured into 5 different signal paths. So what I want to do now is give you a quick walkthrough of the entire device and how it works, and then finish off by showing you some different sounds. So let's get a drum loop going. Okay, so as soon as we turn on Bitcrush, what happens is that our audio is crushed down to 12-bit. It's actually quite a subtle crunch, and it's often pretty desirable depending on what drum sounds you're working with. But what you can do further than that is customize exactly what kind of bit crushing you want. Down here you can see that there's 6 buttons that correspond to each of the 12 bits. So we can turn them off in whatever order we want. So let's first go down to 8-bit audio. So that's 8-bit. Doesn't sound too scratchy yet. That's because our input levels are fairly loud. If we tweak our inputs down, you'll hear more of that lo-fi sound. All right, let's keep going down to 4-bit. And we can continue down. One bit audio. But what we can do further than that is mix and match what different bits we want to turn on. So that right there is a bit depth that doesn't exist in the real world. Bits out of order. Yeah, that's something you're only going to ever get from Bitcrush. Moving on, what we can actually do is invert bits. And there's a little bit of a difficult explanation behind that I'll let you read in the manual if you'd like, but let's listen to what it sounds like. It's pretty harsh. So you've got all those options of turning each bit on, off, or inverted. So yeah, I will once again not do the math, but there's a lot of different possible combinations with 12 bits and 3 different states for all of them. There's tons of room for experimentation. I've done a quick switch up of the loop here, and I'd like to show you the central crush control, which actually downsamples the audio, and it sounds just like this. As well, we've got the sine bit that we can turn on and off. And that bit actually is going to determine if the entire signal is positive or negative. And if we switch it off, the sound is almost equal to rectifying the signal. It'll somewhat bring it up an octave, and it'll really dirty it up. Listen to this. Where the sine bit, or how the sine bit changes the audio, is very dependent on where the other bits are as well. So that's just one more variant in the equation of what kind of custom distortion you're going to create with Bitcrush. Now I'd like to move on to the filters. So why don't we actually just turn the Bitcrusher off completely, and that way we're no longer getting 12-bit audio. We have the full bit depth of our source audio. Okay, so we have the two filters right here, and you can see here our signal path control determines where the filters sit in relation to the Bitcrusher. So right now we have filter 1 going into the Bitcrusher and then going into filter 2. But we can also choose other things, chaining them both after or both before, or two different parallel modes as well. So let's try one of the parallel modes actually. Let's set up two different low passes here. And then what we can actually do is pan those in the stereo spectrum. And we can additionally modulate those by the LFO or CV if we wanted to. That was very, very easy and quick to create a nice stereo effect with Bitcrush. Not using the Bitcrusher at all, just the excellent filters. Additionally, we've got an envelope that can control the filters as well as the crush control. You can set up the ADSR here, and in addition to triggering the envelope by the gate button or by CV, we also have MIDI input. So now I can just press a key on my keyboard and trigger this envelope. So that's a very quick overview of what Bitcrush is capable of. Now what I want to do is take one of the most boring loops in the Reason Factory library. Well, maybe that's just because it's the default loop for Dr. Octorex. And let's mash it up a little with some Bitcrush combinators. Before I do that, I should mention that Bitcrush comes with 60 amazing combinators made by us, as well as over 80 device patches. And all of them are just what you'd expect, all unique with unique rotary and button assignments. The effects patches have mod wheel and pitch wheel mapped uniquely as well. So there's tons of different sounds available just going through the factory patches. So let's get it going here with the acoustic drums, College 130. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's find some other patches here. All right, so I think that probably gives you an idea that there's a very wide range of different sounds in there. All right, I'm going to stop there so that you can explore the rest of it when you're trialing or hopefully purchasing Bitcrush. And I should also mention that you may have missed our live video reveal of Bitcrush, but it's also up on YouTube and you can click right here to watch it. It's about 40 minutes of more in-depth overview of Bitcrush and what it's capable of, as well as questions that I took from about 100 different interested Reason users on what Bitcrush can do. So definitely watch that if you're interested in more. And there's also tons of SoundCloud demos of Bitcrush doing its thing on different audio sources. In case you didn't realize it by now, I am so excited for all of you to get your hands on Bitcrush and go crazy. I'd like to close by mentioning that Bitcrush is fully compatible with all versions of Reason that can host rack extensions. So that's Reason 6.5, Reason 7, and Reason 8. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy Bitcrush. This is Jeremy Jansen. Cheers.